Hello everybody, this is SpyPie here, and today I'm going to be bringing you a Maelstrom guide. So firstly we'll be going through the dungeon, I will be clearing it, and then we will be talking about mechanics. If anyone's interested in these kind of content, we put out these types of videos quite regularly on the channel. Last time we had done the Dragonstar Arena, and this time it is just me, and I am doing the Maelstrom Arena. Now, we're just going to be getting into this. I'm going to be doing I'm going to be doing each arena first, and then I'll be getting into the mechanics of it. Yeah, so let's just get in, and I'll be running through this with y'all. Firstly, this one's pretty simple. You know, I have a pretty good geared warden here, and a lot of this will just be pretty simple to get through. If you are at all geared appropriately for your character, you'll have no real issues with the Maelstrom. It was one of the first ones introduced to the game. You know, the main thing is, so you'll have a bunch of arenas here. We'll go through every single one of them and show you through them all, but really I don't think you're going to have any issue with it. We're already on round 3 with this. And while we're going through this, I guess I'll just kind of just talk and, you know, just play while I'm talking. The only thing I could say really while I'm playing, you know, watch out for this tornado that'll spawn throughout this one. Other arenas will have their own type of mechanic that'll come out with it. You know, the next one we'll see some area effects, and area effects are really the major killer here if you're not paying attention. And there we go, another warfare point. Yep. And there's that Flash Thatcher knocked down. And here is the boss fight. So I'm going to go ahead and cut him down. Now, we're probably not going to get to many of the mechanics due to the gear of this character. However, I will go through them as we go through this with you all. Now, there we go. We have just cleaned up the first boss. And in the first boss, a lot of his arenas are... So this arena is pretty simple. His most dangerous mechanic is the black round he summons. It does a lot of damage if you stand inside of it. I'm sure you guys saw that. You may be caught with a little whirlwind that follows with it. He also has a range attack where he'll shoot things at you. Now, we didn't go from range, but there we go. He will shoot that. He'll also teleport. So he'll teleport from here. He'll teleport here next. Then he'll go over here. And then, you know, finish out the circle himself. In kind of a pentagram type thing. In kind of a circle-like thing. He'll also spawn a couple smaller ads, which are copies of him. And they will merge with him to heal him. So be careful whenever dealing with this character, whenever dealing with this boss. If you're not well geared, the best thing to do is to just cut him down as quickly as possible. Now, I will go through it. So that character himself, he will do all those mechanics. Be careful to also take note that there will be a circle on the ground that will also follow you along with this dungeon. He will spawn some Daedroths, some Scamps as well. Not too bad. Let's go on to Seht's balcony. Now, Seht's balcony, immediately you'll start to notice we have these spinning blades. I might not do so well dodging them. Sometimes I don't pay that much attention to it, but I'll try to keep away from them this time. There's also this in the middle here. If I was to run into it, I will get damaged from it, and every now and then it will explode, which will cause it to knock us back out of it. So there are a bunch of Dwemer ads in this specific arena. The boss fight will be coming soon. The main mechanic is don't get hit by these blades. They will do a pretty good amount of bleed damage to you. The best thing I found to do if you're having any struggle with it is run along the line of one of them to stay out of the cut of all of them, because they only follow one line. So if you can walk along this line here, The middle one's probably the easiest one to keep track of. That's in my opinion. You know, you can do it how you want. You can dodge in between them. However, just if you want to make it simple, you can run around the long way and just pick off enemies as you get to them. However, I'm not going to worry too much about the mechanic myself. I know how I can take them on this character. Your mileage may vary, but I just want to get through this as quickly as possible for you guys so that you can watch the dungeon. There are also these switches. You only have a limited amount of them in the dungeon. However, if you are to need a break from them, you can stop them, and they will just wait for, and it'll also stop the middle here, which will help, you know, with the damage that you need to be pumping out, especially on some of these bigger ads. They might have a bit more of a resistance to you, you know, a bit more of a threat, really. And you don't want to have to take a bunch of damage just to run across to get them. So use these as much as you can. There's no reason not to use them. They will not lower your score for using them. Here is the boss fight. The boss fight's pretty simple. I'm going to go ahead and just get them down as much as possible. I got the first one down. There's the second one. And I'll go through the mechanic of them very quickly here in just a moment. Even though we have kind of just messed up the mechanic by killing the first one too quickly a little bit. There you go. So the first mechanic of this boss that you might have noticed, there are 3 of them that spawn. They do not have a shared health pool. Each of them have individual health. However, they don't have a lot of health each. The strategy with it is you'll fight one. He will bury into the ground a little bit, like as you saw them lock down. In that phase, they are completely immune to damage, and you'll move on to the next one, and then the next one. And you'll fight them in that order as they go down and as they come back up. If you can kill one of them too quickly, you may have an issue where they'll do what they did here, where the 2 across from each other, the farthest from each other, will shut down in a continuous loop for a little bit. So be careful to manage your damage if you can, so that they don't do that to you. They also have AoE damage that they'll do melee, and they'll also shoot off little lightning balls. Some of them that will hurt the ground below you. So be careful around that. The Drome of Toxic Shock is next. And this one is one of my favorites. It's very simple. I really like this one. Even as a werewolf character, I enjoy this one. So let's go through it really quickly. As you can see, we have 3 platforms. That's going to be a running theme here. The water will eventually become electrified, so be careful as to where you're standing. There it is. The electrified water does do a pretty good amount of damage, and it's continuous, so be careful. There will also be these poison spits that will come down. They will slow you down if you get hit with them. Here I am. I'm a little bit slowed from them. The damage in this arena specifically is kind of a test to see if you're really paying attention. And you'll see that I'm running a lot of, and you can't really jump that, by the way. Be careful. You cannot really jump that. You can only really get away from 1 tick of it. There's another poison coming out. If you have a bow or some kind of ranged weapon, that may be better to use here if you can. For me, I have a ranged weapon, but it is a very offhand weapon, so I don't expect it to do a whole lot. However, I can use it to just kill off any of them that are a little bit too far. You can also use volley to basically shut down a whole area of them. Anything that spawns there will take a bunch of damage before getting to you. And that's because volley here actually can fill up an entire island, as you can see here. See, and there you go. My gear seems to be broken. Give me 1 second. Let me go ahead and repair it. I have a bunch of crown repair crates that I got from logging in. These stranglers, they will not pull you in, however they will spit acid at you. Their damage is minor, but they can stack up if you leave too many of them up. They are technically neutral for a good amount of the time, where they will just bury under and do nothing. Don't forget to be using, your buffs or anything like that while you're here. Good management of things. This is the Queen's Ambassador. She is the second to last, if I'm right. I believe there is one more. So the Queen's Ambassador is pretty simple. She does put these little things on the ground, and she also could pull you. So be careful with that. There's another Strangler here. This is the final round, and we are about to deal with the Queen herself. So let's get this over with. Firstly, you can see she has that melee right there. That's a stun. I stood in it so you guys could kind of see what it was. Here she is shooting a lightning ball kind of thing at me. Kind of like Overload for the sorcerers. It functions much the same. There she can spit things on the ground. And there you guys go. So, going forward, let's loot the chest of champions. Make sure to loot your chest every single time. I haven't not done it, but I imagine you probably don't get the gear if you don't do it. So this one is a very fun one. I have a really lot of just memories in this room specifically. Whenever I first started doing it, it kind of beat me into the ground. So, it's one of those things that I remember for that. So we'll have a lot of these fire mages that'll be coming out, as well as these just general, there will be a lot of humanoids specifically that'll be coming out, but we'll also see a lot of Dwemer coming in soon. These little things, I'll let this one go ahead and oh, he died. Never mind. I'll let the next one go through. Here's Alcalar. He's just a kind of a stationary boss in a way. So there's this guy. I'll let him go ahead and make his way to it so you guys can see what he does. If they make their way to it, they will bury under. And then, once they bury under, they'll gain a damage shield. They're pretty easy to kill. They only have 5,000 health, but if they start to do the damage shield on, they'll require a couple more hits. So kill them before they make it to the inner circle. And you'll start to see a lot more of these spawning later in. These Dwarven spiders don't do too much. They're pretty easy to kill out, and they're kind of just shooting lightning at you. Now this one we have a boss here, Ronham, or whatever, I don't know how you say your name. And then we'll have some more overchargers here. There's a healer. There are healers in these in these arenas, so be careful around each one of them. And there we go. There's that guy down. A bunch of Dwarven spheres coming in. It's funny because you never actually see them in the sphere state like you do in other games. But nonetheless, just kill off these Dwarven spiders as quickly as possible. That's your main ad that you're going to be facing a lot of this in. You'll see a lot of humanoids, but they're not too bad. The thing you want to worry about is the Dwarven little guys that'll come in, and they have the little eye on top, and if they get to these pedestals, as you see the one I'm jumping on right now, they can be a bit more difficult to kill. There's one trying to make it now. Here's the final boss. This boss is a really fun boss, so what you want to do is you want to stand underneath of him whenever he has this circle underneath of him. That's basically your good area. You want to stand underneath and hit him as much as possible. And I'm trying to do a lot of damage because the next phase, he does this. And you want to be out from under that. During this phase, it's good to go ahead and clean up all the sentries that you have that have spawned during the damage phase. Now that he's dead, I can basically shoot him with just some quick fire shots, and he's dead. That's the entire boss there. He comes in, stand underneath of him, and then make sure to dodge out of it and clean up your mess that you might have left behind. The Rink of Frozen Blood, this one's a bit more complicated than most of them in this dungeon specifically. To be clear, if you step out into the water, you'll get a stacking debuff. As you can see, it does a lot of damage, so be careful. And it is a continuous dot for about 3 seconds. Now you see there's a troll berserker. So once they come in, they will spawn always right in the middle here. And if they spawn and they get to their destination, they will break these platforms, leaving you with one less place to have safe ground. So don't let them break the ground. I'll let this one come out and get close to breaking it. I won't let him break it, however. See, and then all you can do if you can't kill them in time is you can interrupt them like that. Just a simple interrupt works. Be careful not to stay in the water as much as possible. You will have to run between platforms, but try to keep it to a minimum if all possible. I went ahead and jumped and got him, killed the ogre as that come out. The ogres can do a good amount of damage, so be careful.
That's one where it counts.
Oh, I've ran out of weapon charge. It's not great. Oh, I got stuck on the platform. Make sure you are careful there. You can get stuck. I'll go ahead and charge my weapon very quickly.
Pay attention, you louts. You might learn something.
Here we are. We have a few frost atronachs that will spawn in. They do a cone attack. Be careful not to be standing in front of them when they do it. These frost mages typically like to stand in the water, so be careful. Don't worry too much about the ghosts, however, they do have very low health. But you want to clean them off as quickly as possible. Obviously, you want to clean as many ads off as possible because you don't want to have to deal with them. Here are some archer heart tides that'll come in. Best thing to do is just shoot them from afar if you can. I had a bit of lag there. Nonetheless, we'll go forward.
You're not done with this arena yet.
So I went ahead and shot him off. Here we have two different giants, frost giants that'll come in. Best thing I've noticed to do is clean one off as quickly as possible, then move on to the next. Try not, you don't really want to have to spread damage between them.
I'll wager that will leave a mark.
All right. Now we have some of these ancestor guardians. You might notice them as the Selene model for a lot of it. So they do have a lot of similarities with that. Here's Boar. He's pretty simple. Go in and kill this Frost Berserker. Frost Berserkers are your main priority. If they kill the platforms, they will not respawn, I don't believe, so be careful. You really want those guys down before anything else. They're more important than the Frost Trolls even, or Frost Giants. So there's another one. I'm going to go ahead and shoot him twice, kill him before he starts doing the spawning of it. This guy has a damage like that. It will knock you down. Once he reaches about, I believe, 70%, he will do that and break a platform. And this is why you need all 3 platforms beforehand. He does them at health limits, so be careful. I believe he'll do it now at 35, maybe 40. So he's going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and start shooting now. Shooting him before he gets here. I don't really want to have to jump into the water. And be careful, he does have a conal attack that he'll sling out at you. And there we go. On to the next one. This one's pretty good. I like this one. Be careful around this, so you'll notice very quickly. We'll go into this. This one's a bit more complex, so you may need to watch to understand, just if you have not done it yet. So these things that I'm killing here, those are spiders, venomous hoarders. if they are out on the map, you want to kill them next to the pillars as close as possible because they will clean any webs off of them. There will be web spinner spiders that will come in. Those will try to take the light off of them, and you'll see why you want them to all be lit up as much as possible. Oh, I didn't get him on that one. I'm not too worried about myself with this mechanic. I can typically kill the spiders, but there are a whole lot of them, and they do a whole lot of damage, so be careful. This Flesh Atronach has a knockback stun attack that will really disorient you if you're not careful. Make sure to kill the spiders every time. And there's my daily endeavor.
I've been waiting for this.
These scorpions aren't too big of a deal. Don't worry too much about them, but just kill them as you can. The archers are a much bigger threat, in my opinion. And I'll let him go on a little bit, and I'll just kill him here. He's not going to go towards what I need him to.
That does it. This is all but over.
And there we go. There's a web spinner. I'll kill that guy before he can cloud that one up. There's another Flash Atronach. Remember, do be careful. Here they are. So these guys here will start to spawn these little spiderlings. I'll try to kill them myself. I can typically kill them off before anything, but if you cannot kill them off, what you need to do is stand in the light of each pillar. Standing in the light will make them unable to come get you. And as you see there, I just cleared off one of the pillars. And here's a web spinner. Make sure he dies before he can start messing with my pillars. Here's the captain. His mechanics are pretty simple. He does a lightning splash on the ground. He has an anti-magic shell that he'll place down. Be careful if you are a magic character not to stand too close to him, as well as Mage's Fury. His is a bit different, however, it's an AoE. He goes down pretty simple, though. So as you see them all here, if I was to stand still and let them hit me, they do a good amount of damage.
That's how it's done.
And they will continue to attack you for a while. So if you do have issues with them and cannot kill them before they hurt you, make sure to stand in the light.
With blood.
Now we start to see these Void Lurchers. I can clean these guys off pretty easily, but be careful. They do have a knockback stun effect, so you don't want to be left in that. This guy has a knockback. Be careful. He also casts crystal frags at you. They do a good amount of damage, so be careful.
Now you will feel pain. You know you love it.
But here you go. See, they will run off from the light. Here are the Void Lurchers. Be careful. Remember, these guys do have a bit of a stun effect. Especially be careful if you're running with Void Lurchers behind you. You can get staggered, and that will cause a lot of issues. Now we're going to fight the Champion of Atrocity. She's pretty easy overall, but to be careful, you know, just there she shoots out a lightning storm in front of her, and she'll also have two of these little orbs, you know, these things that come out, and they track where you do walk, so be careful. You can interrupt that as well. And there you go.
Well played.
There is the Champion of Atrocity down. Let's grab our chest of champions. And another Parabellum helmet. I feel like I get that so often now. Now this one is the one that typically kills anyone who's not ready. Be careful with this one. It's Vault of Umbrage, and it is a lot more difficult than the rest. Now, as you see, there are these little spindly things that are sticking out of the ground. I'm sure you guys can see them. They're right there. If you go up to them and you get too close, they will explode and they will leave a ticking damage on you. This ticking damage does a whole lot, honestly. So be careful. These guys here, these little Argonian guys, They will shoot you with bows. They're also not afraid to cast. They're also not afraid to cast a cripple effect, which will stun you down on the ground. So as you can see, they're starting to explode. If they explode, they leave a 30-second damage over time effect on you. You can cleanse them by jumping inside these little pools here. The thing is that they will not spawn, but only twice per round. So be careful. If you get the dot on you, you can manage it, and if you can survive it, that's great. If you can't survive it, here I have it on me, you can jump back into it and get a second damage tick of it. That will reset the cooldown on it, but that will also really increase the damage. I mean, double fold at least. The thing is, if it gets to 0, you automatically die. Instant death, does not matter what your health pool is, you will die from it. It is a one-shot mechanic, so do not let that poison tick down to 0. Absolutely not. These Void Callers will come in. Make sure to kill them as quickly as possible. As you saw, we were fighting through a bit of a storm of one earlier. They are not afraid to do it, like, you know, really ramp things up for you, and you really don't want to have to be dancing around these as best as you can. They are just a whole lot of a hassle, and make sure to kill them. They always spawn on these pedestals. You can see one here. There is one over there, and there's 2 on the exact opposite side of it. As you can see, there's a portal for 1 now. I'm gonna go kill it. I got a ticking time from it, so I'm going to go cleanse it here soon. These Wanasombu guys, I don't know, they're just tanky. They mostly just take up your time. Make sure you jump in the pool at the end of it. Here's round 4. Round 4, we're going to start seeing a lot more of trolls coming in, I believe, as well as just a whole lot of Argonians. There is a Venom Caller over that way. I'm going to go ahead and shoot her down quickly. I'm going to pull back. Sometimes it's better to let them come to you than get to them if they're crowded by a bunch of those little spindly things on the ground. We should have another Void Caller coming in. I'm not exactly sure. There we go. It's just void shots, so we'll go ahead and kill them. They do leave a little bit of a poison on you. They're not too bad. There she is. Kill the Void Caller quickly. There is a Swamp Troll. Go ahead and take care of these guys. Now they will enrage. During the time of their enrage, they are not damageable. There is nothing you can do to kill them, and you just have to wait it out. So there you go. Here's a Void Caller spawning in. Let's make sure to take care of that. This is the final round here. We're going to have the Argonian Behemoth come in. This boss fight can be a little overwhelming for anyone who's not sure. He does have a one-shot mechanic. As you saw there, he does a bit of a ground pound, and he can also spit at you. Here we go. Now, it's not a set timer as to when he'll do the mechanic. However, I'm not sure if it's a set timer or whatever, but he will do it eventually. When it comes to that, we're going to have to interrupt him if we don't just kill him like that. There you go. He will start to glow red as well as start pounding on his chest. When you start to see that, make sure to interrupt him so that he will not one-shot you. It is a deafening howl, and it will kill you. So be very careful about that. Now, going on, this one's probably the simplest of them all, genuinely not that hard. You'll start to see there will be 3 giant, yeah, here we are, 3 of these stones around the thing, around the map itself. We're going to eventually need to destroy them, otherwise take care of the flame elementals and beetles that will be coming in, as well as a bunch of flame knights. The flame can be a bit much if you are a vampire. On my Vamplar, I don't have that many issues with it, but you should be prepared to fight that if you have issues with it. Now, as you can see, he is immune right now to all damage. What we need to do is kill the warding stone, and now we can damage him. Alright. And, yeah, so just make sure to keep the warding stones cracked as much as possible. You don't want to have to fight them. Every single round, we're going to have one that we got to do that with, so be careful. Round 2, we start to see the shulks come in. The beetles may cause a little bit of an issue for you. They can be a little overwhelming. They spawn in quite often and quite regular in large packs, so be careful. Now we can already start damaging the warding stone. I'm going to go ahead and destroy it, and then we're going to move on to this guy and try to kill him as quickly as possible. He has a knockback in a prong-like shape, so be careful. It can hit you from across the map. Excuse me. Now, here we are. Now, I do have this graphical glitch right here, but that stone is not together. These guys have knockbacks, these Dremora curls, make sure to kill them. And don't get knocked back from them. The mages of them can cast fireballs, so be careful. You don't want to have continuous fire damage raining down on you, even though you will be having that kind of. The best way I've found to take care of warding is you can shoot it twice or 3 times with a poison, and then what you can do is take that time to clean off things around the map. And by the time you got it done, here he is. Alright. I am having a little bit of lag right now, so it is kind of messing with my gameplay. I'm sure you guys could notice my ping down in the bottom is a lot higher than normal. Yeah, so. And yeah, this one's kind of rinse and repeat. You just kind of do the same thing over and over again. We do that with the other ones as well, but this one is very much just do the same thing over and over. Now this one has a pull. This boss here, she will pull you in quite regularly. It's kind of like Silver Chains in the Dawn Guard fighting tree, or the Dawn Guard in the fighting guild tree, the Dawn Guard crossbow silver leash is what I'm meaning to say. It's kind of like that. She can pull you from quite a distance, across the map even, so be careful. Now this boss will have the same, she'll have a leash as well. However, we should have enough time just about to destroy the warding stones and get involved in the fight. Make sure to buff. I'll let my buff fall off. Now, there we go, I got stunned from that. However, as you can see, the warding stones for her can redo during the fight, so be careful. And she can do that. That is not a fun mechanic to mess with. It's a large area. You can dodge between them if you're careful. And there we go. Now we should only have one more arena left. I got the Winterborn robe and an extra soul gem. This is a great way of farming soul gems as well if you are needing them. I doubt you will, but in case you need them. Here we are in the Theater of Despair. This boss fight at the end will be a lot more complicated than some of the others here. However, it's not too bad. We'll go through it step by step. So, as you can see, there is a golden ghost. You're going to want to touch it. And that's the whole mechanic of that right there. Don't touch the silvered ghost. Silver ghosts hurt you, put a debuff on you, so don't do that. That's all you really need to know on that, so don't touch them. Golden ghosts you need to touch. Every single golden ghost, you need 3 of them, and what you can do is unleash the power. Once we have 3 of them, I'll show you, and I'll talk more about it. Now I find it's easier to stand around on the outside edge. I know that you do get the lava that pours in, but I have a very fast character, so I don't really see an issue with it myself. However, just stand where you're most comfortable. You just want to be out on the lookout for those golden ghosts when they do spawn, because they will immediately start to search for a enemy of them to empower, and you don't want that. If they get empowered, that's going to be bad for you. You'll have to fight them in an empowered state. They'll do more damage, so be careful. Now we'll start to see Ogrim start spawning. These guys can shoot fire, and here we go. We have the buff. I'm going to hold it on until the next thing, and here we go. 3, 2, 1, bang. That will clear all the ghosts off the map. That's what happens when you have all three together, and it will stun all enemies on the field at the time. Great way of just kind of locking down the map and doing some damage itself. You can do this even to the boss. The boss is immune to normal stuns, however, he's not immune to the mechanical stun. This guy has a chain pull and a fire breath. Be careful about it. There's some ceremonial guards. They're essentially just normal day drops. Don't worry too much about them. Make sure they're dead first. Except for there is one thing you need to kill first. These guys right here. Any of them that are walking slow, they're trying to walk to the middle. And look, if anyone's trying to do a ritual today, it's good to not let them do it. Now we have, there we go. I saw him, a kind lurker. Where is he? Nope, there we go. I got the only one. And you can see she's trying to do the ritual. Grab the golden ghost. And, oh, I did not mean to use that, but I will. I meant to use the blow up, 3 ghosts thing. But I accidentally used the Sigil of Defense. Not like it's a big deal, however. This is just normal mode. Like I said, just a lot of this is just rinse and repeat throughout all of it. Do the same mechanics over and over and over. And if you don't have them down right, they'll kill you every time. So, that's kind of how it comes. Round 5, we only have one more round after this. This one's not too bad. These kind lurkers do have a stun, so be careful. Here is the kind lurker or Ash Titan. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and just kill him off real quick. He's not too bad. He has an effect that's similar to the last boss with the flame effect, so be careful with that. He just shoots flames mostly at you, as well as does some, knockback. There you go. I was just about to talk about that. Grab the ghost and kill this guy. Kill the kind lurker as quickly as possible. Don't want to have to deal with stuns coming out. Grab the ghost. Kill this Ogrim here, and the boss should spawn, and I'd like to open up with a spectral explosion.
Watch! The climax approaches! I summon your death!
Here we go. Got 3 stacks on him.
Now I shall reveal my true power.
And I have already gotten him to go upstairs. That's not great. Nonetheless, here's the clan fear. We're gonna kill what you need to do is you need to bring him to these little anchor points. Kill the clan fear on top of the anchor points. Go to these animus crystals. He will start shooting things at you that will try to knock you off the platform. You don't want to get hit by it. If the best you can, try not to get knocked off the edge. And there we go. So after killing all 3 crystals, you do get knocked off anyway, and he will come back to the ground, and you'll have to fight him. Make sure to interrupt him after coming down from the top. Once you come down from the top, he has a thing that you need to interrupt right away. He'll also have a lot of knockbacks now. They're not very fun to mess with, and these little anchor things will start to spawn, so be careful. I'm going to stand right in between him and the ghost. I know that there is a sacrifice coming in, but I'm not too worried. And there you guys go. That is how you do Maelstrom Arena, normal mode, And that is essentially the entire mechanics behind it. If you guys like these kinds of videos, we also have the Dragonstone Arena. Me and Jack specifically have done that one. This one is just me, unfortunately for some of you. However, we also have a ton of dungeon guides on the channel as well. Thank you guys all for watching. This has been a very quick spy rundown of the entire Maelstrom Arena from start to finish. If you guys are interested in doing the Maelstrom Arena yourself, you can find it up here atop the map in Hrothgar. You do need the DLC to access this zone, so be careful about that if you do not have it, or the subscription. If you have the ESO Plus subscription, you can just go to it. It is in Hrothgar. It's at the top of the map. Whenever you do come to Hrothgar, you'll have to come from the Merchant Gateway Shrine all the way up. However, it's not too far off, and once you come here for the first time, you can just teleport there forever. This dungeon is pretty simple to do. You cannot queue for this, however, so that's why I did not do the opening with the queuing itself and where to go for it. You can only be solo for this as well. I want to be very clear. This is a solo arena. This is only one person. I farm this quite regularly myself. The reason for farming it is the set items that come out of it, and I will talk very quickly about those for people who are interested in what is here. We have the Maelstrom Mace, well, the Cruel Fury set. Deal damage with Flurry. Your single target damage over time abilities used within 4 seconds gain 1,500 spell damage and weapon damage. You also have the Crushing Wall. Your light and heavy attacks deal an additional 1,200 damage to all enemies within your wall of elements. The Merciless Charge is one of my favorite battle axes in the game. Dealing damage with critical charge causes enemies to bleed for 8,000 damage over 7 seconds, scales off of your weapon or spell damage. The Precise Regeneration, whenever your regeneration ability critically strikes, you'll restore 500 mana. Cannot occur from simultaneous critical strikes, however. Rampaging Slash, when you deal damage with low slash, your fully charged heavy attack within 5 seconds restores an extra 1,700 mana or stamina. The Maelstrom Bow, one of my favorite bows, actually being used in this footage specifically, as it will increase your volley damage by 405 per tick. The bonus increases 135 every time volley ticks, up to a maximum of 8. Elemental Succession being another set that comes out of here with max magicka, weapon and spell damage, max magicka, and then whenever you deal flame, frost, or shock damage, you'll gain an extra 464 weapon and spell damage for the elements listed for 4 seconds. Each effect is randomly picked, and an effect that is already active cannot refresh. Now, Elemental Glory, or Helm of Glory, the Glory set is a great set. If you're looking for a tank set specifically, 1,000 max health, another 1,000 max health, 121 weapon and spell damage. When you bash an enemy, you'll gain Glorious Defense for 10 seconds, allowing you to dodge the next melee attack made against you. Then it can occur every 13 seconds. The Hunt leader set is Stamina, 1,000 stat of each, and then you'll also gain 121 weapon and spell damage. When your pets attack, you have also attacked. Sorry. When your pets attack an enemy you have already attacked within the last 10 seconds, you will heal for 2,000 health and restore 1,000 stamina. Can occur every 5 seconds. Parabellum, which is a set I've talked about, I'm sure, on the channel. One of my favorite sets in the game, actually. I feel like this has a lot of utilization that people don't look at. Max stamina, max health, and max stamina, 1,000 of each. And then whenever you deal damage, you'll gain a damage shield. Up to 9,000 damage for 6 seconds, can occur every 6 seconds. That actually just got changed. Parabellum used to be different. It used to be 10 seconds and refresh every 10 seconds. However, I like this effect better. Permafrost is next with Max Health, Max Magicka, and Magicka Recovery. While you have a damage shield on, your health recovery is increased by 1,000. And lastly, Winterborn, which will add 1,000 Max Magicka, 121 Magicka Recovery, 121 weapon and spell damage, and when you deal frost damage, you'll summon an Ice Pillar that deals 4,500 frost damage to all enemies within 3-meter radius. The Ice Pillar persists for 2 seconds and reduces movement speed of all enemies within the radius by 50%, can occur every 6 seconds, and scales off your higher weapon or spell damage. Anyway, thank you all for watching. This has been SpyPie here, talking with you guys about the Maelstrom Arena and showing you a guide. If you guys like this kind of content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and as well as leave a comment down below. Tell us which dungeon you'd like to see next, and I would like to just once more say thank you all for watching, and I'm out.